That fiend Thompson came to Portland last night, traded drugs on the stage with innocent children, bragged about beating salmon to death. I don't even fish, you know. Told the president a filthy gerbil, and offered no solutions to the broken and crippled, sad young chaps who brought their families to hear his last pieces of advice before the Armageddon.
I ain't Hunter, it's true, but the man is here. I don't know what I could say to tell you what you do. The phone has been ringing literally off the hook for 5 days, and there's so many people disappointed that they're not here tonight. It's going to be a wonderful evening. He's a great gentleman. It's funny, his agent has been painting him as this horror show, this twisted human being. And it's part of his rap. You know, he gets an extra $500 from me because he says, Hunter Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
People in church. I am late, you know, and I was in Seattle.
So was I.
Yeah. You must have an earlier train. And you didn't break down in despair and personal grief and maggotry as I did. I had a problem with the wino. Ollie North is here? He's been everywhere, hasn't he, that bastard? Hey, he's talking about a guy who had fun. Oliver North has had about as much fun as anybody has had for about 5 years in government. No one knows who was running the White House. It turns out that Oliver North was running the foreign policy. And Oliver North, for 6 years or so, had the run of the whole world. He could rent Switzerland. He could buy fleets of Danish boats. The government's not involved in Central America. Didn't you hear? So when the whistle was blown on them, when this Syrian paper in Iran blew the whistle on the arms deal, and the rats went wild in Washington after that, Nice said to Oliver North, who had been a real champion, well, he was the Dick Tracy, the hero, everything of the administration. How he did that, I'll never know. So here's Ollie North, who's now putting the fifth, in there with Vaughn Hall for 3 days, trying to get rid of the documents. Now, have you seen the documents they got out of there? Ye gods, what came out of there was a monster file of horrible gibberish. And here, what in the hell were they doing down there? And these people worked out of Bush's office. And there's an arms sale trial in New York that was canceled about 2 months ago. With 17 really bad people on trial for selling arms to Iran for $2 billion. And the reason for it was that George Bush, they said, had okayed the damn thing. Now that was $2 billion. And they're looking now for $19.5 million, which has clearly disappeared. Gone. Garbonafar, you know, ugly little bastard, bad temper. And, they're seizing Khashoggi's airplanes, his Salt Lake City shopping centers. But 20 million is nothing. These people were in for $2 billion, and it was dismissed because George Bush interfered, allegedly, in the evidence procedure. And that McFarlane, really a silly little fart, who, that's true, I'm sorry I coarse about it, used to work for John Tower as a staff assistant. A man who, ate 30 volumes and thought he would kill him? Shit, Jim Morrison ate 30 volumes for breakfast. It was a lame thing. But we have people who nobody here would drink with. You wouldn't give them a ride in your car if they were hitchhikers and they got in and started saying, well, you're like, what are you doing, man? Where are you going? Well, I'm going to Washington. I'm the National Security Advisor. And, a madman. I give him a ride for a while. But McFarlane and Poindexter were so dumb and so low and ugly and just cheap that you'd put him out at the next crossroads. Almost all politicians and all lawyers should be castrated so their genes should not be passed along.
What about Doonsbury?
I never had much to do with comic strips. Well, it depends on your perspective,
What is your perspective?
Well, I can tell you that people who grew up in this country want to be, firemen and cowboys and pimps, maybe. You never know.
Or sheriff.
But maybe sheriff. But nobody grows up here wanting to be a comic strip character, do they? So I'm a pioneer. And no, I don't like it.
Get a royalty?
Hell no, that filthy little animal. Yeah, his parents sent him to Yale. They slaved and worked. They were humble people. And they sent this boy, they boy to Yale for 4 years. And all he learned to do was to steal other people's work. And I don't know, it's a shock. But I don't pay much attention to it. I was in the middle of covering the Pulitzer divorce trial, which is really covering the Palm Beach.
Nixon or North or Meese, it's the same old bullshit. Nothing's ever going to change.
Well, let me just tell you something, sport, and I agree with you, and I have done that and thought that way before. Yeah, we all pray for the Armageddon and the bonfires on the hill and the great shrieking and the, Oh yeah. Oh no, we want the action, but we do live there, and we're not going to die. Not all of us in this Holocaust. And this is a dark thought, and I don't want to ruin your young life, but it's going to change. But nobody. I'm not going to take care of the change. Ed Meese is not going to take care of the change. You're going to be a part of that. Yeah. It is true. Behind the drug? What do you use? What kind of stuff do you use? I'll tell you what I use. I could tell you anything at all, couldn't I? But I'm in kind of a dead-end, ugly mood tonight. I don't catch salmon. I beat them to death. This is my... What hatred? Al? Big Al. Al ran it for a while. Yeah. He made the mistake of admitting it one day. Yeah. I would kill them all. Well, hey, I don't know what God's going to do. I'm always thinking that they all spoke a different language. Maybe the draft. Maybe the draft should be back, so you'd be really scared.